YouTube, what's going on today, man? Listen, good morning, welcome back to the channel. I miss you guys, man. Today's YouTube upload, we're going to be taking a look at the world of mobile games, okay? Look at this guy talking about how they swindle, they deceive a bunch of Decepticons out there, man. I don't know if you guys have seen some of these ads on your phone of mobile games, but they're nothing like the actual game that they're advertising for. It's this whole big thing. It's kind of weird, and we did a video on it today. I want to hear your thoughts down below. And also, this is a newer type of video. We haven't done this type of content, so as always, give me your honest feedback. If you like the video, don't forget to like the video, man. And let me know, bro. Y'all play games on your phone? I don't have any games on my phone. And enjoy the video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Peace and love, baby. Good morning. We're going to be tapping into something a little bit different today. And like everything that we do that's different, it is most important that we get your feedback in the comments down below. Give the video a chance and then let me know how you're feeling about it, man. I don't want to talk about this video in the bottom right. Every time we do a react video, which is like every day right now because gaming's... that video's popping up, and I'm not clicking on it.
This is a YouTube advertisement for a mobile game called Ebony the King's
Mobile
Return.
game, the Insidious
You've probably seen this
world
ad
of fake
or ads
ads
just like it a million, billion, jillion times before,
a lot.
But if you go to the App Store on your phone and you download this game, you will quickly realize that the game you see in this ad does not exist. Ebony is a game about city building. You build an empire and level up your town hall and all that good stuff. But despite the fact that this ad is a lie, this marketing strategy is clearly very effective.
Wait. That's the game and this is the ad?
You build an empire and level up your town hall and all that good stuff.
What kind of catfish is this?
Is a lie, this marketing strategy is clearly very effective. This game has over 100 million downloads on the Google Play Store. So you might be thinking to yourself, why would a company even do this? What do they stand to gain by tricking over 100 million people into downloading a game that doesn't even exist? Well, I can answer your question in just one word. Whales. And when you think of whales, you might think of, you know, big giant creatures swimming through the sea, or maybe, you know, the country with hills and sheep and stuff. But a mobile game developer, when they think of a whale, they think of this guy. His name is Daigo, and he is completely and utterly addicted to a mobile game called Fate Grand Order. He spends basically every waking moment of his life playing this game, and at the time of this Wall Street Journal video being released, he had spent roughly $70,000 on the game. So much money that he couldn't actually state an exact figure. And perhaps the most shocking part of it all is that he doesn't regret spending a single penny.
Okay, look, I'm all about diving into a game that you like, but yo, YouTube, do you guys play these games and do you spend money on these games? Is this a thing? I have no games on my phone. Am I trolling?
This right here is the lifeblood of the average free-to-play mobile game. Maybe your game gets 100 million downloads, but the overwhelming majority of those players won't spend a single penny on your game. Many of them will quit after just a couple of hours. A small percentage of players will spend small amounts of money here or there just to make the game more fun for them. But then a very small number of people will spend astronomical amounts of money on the game. So much money that it makes up for all of the other people who never spent a penny combined. And the more downloads your game gets...
Brother, what did I just see on his feet? I'm a foot guy. I'm sorry. What am I looking at right here, bro? This is concerning.
The other people who never spent a penny combined. And the more downloads your game gets, the more whales you get. According to some sources, only about 2% of all mobile game players turn out to be whales. Yet they are responsible for spending the overwhelming majority of the money that the mobile gaming industry makes each year. And 2% of 100 million downloads is a whole lot more whales than 2% of 10,000 downloads. So an advertisement like this, which just flagrantly shows you a game that isn't real, is doing its job exactly right. All this ad needs to do is convince
we gotta make a mobile game.
That's it. Because yeah, sure, 90% of people are going to uninstall it basically immediately, and 98% of people won't spend a penny. But those 2% make so much money that from the gaming company's perspective, all of this lying and cheating is worth it in the end. And it makes the biggest mobile game developers billions of dollars every year.
China.
But you're all probably thinking to yourself
China.
the exact same thing right now. This is just false advertising. Isn't false advertising meant to be illegal? Don't these companies get sued into the ground for advertising a game that's completely fake? Well, in theory, yes, false advertising is illegal and it can get you into some serious trouble. But in practice, these companies aren't actually breaking the law. You see, when I said this game didn't exist, I was almost telling the truth. Because this game you see in the advert does exist inside of Evony the King's Return. It's a mini game that you can play inside of Evony. You can play it for free for about half an hour before the levels run dry and you have to start engaging with the base building mechanics that most of the game is centered around. So to any government agency looking in, you didn't technically falsely advertise your product. This game is inside the mobile app that is advertising.
Man. This is so slimy.
It's not false advertising, it's just disingenuous advertising. And disingenuous isn't illegal, so they get away with it. Now, there are some games that do a much, much worse job of pretending to be the game from the ad. Like, whilst I was researching this video, I played a game called Top War Battle Game that, as far as I could tell, wasn't even trying to pretend to be the game from the ad. So I have no idea how companies like these get away with it. But generally, the game in the ad will be somewhere inside the app at some point. They run an ad that shows a game that looks kind of fun, so it convinces you to download the game. You play this little mini game for half an hour before quickly realizing that the bulk of the game is not really what you signed up for. And this is where most people just uninstall the game and never think about it again. But for that tiny 2% of players, they get hooked on what the rest of the game contains, and they spend money again and again, and they single-handedly bankroll the entire company that makes the game for years to come. Now, if you've been on the internet for a while and have a relatively good memory, you might also remember these adverts. These ones are similarly infamous for being completely fake and not representing the game at all. In fact, these ones are so infamous that they actually made an entire ad campaign that literally commented on how their ads are fake.
Guys, didn't y'all believe that all those puzzle ads were fake and there's no such game? But today, I've finally found the game. Evony the King's Return.
Honestly, this one is so bold in just like doubling down on the lie that I honestly kind of respect it. But these ads were all over the internet a few years back, just blatantly showing a game that they had no intention of actually letting you play for more than 10 minutes. But these ads were discontinued a long time ago, and they've not been running for years. And when you download Evony, this old game is nowhere to be found, which sheds a light on another strategy these mobile game companies use to advertise their game. They use what's called A/B testing. They will create a bunch of different adverts and then roll them all out onto YouTube.
I mean, they have this on YouTube. They have this on YouTube for creators. You can pick 2 different thumbnails and A/B test them, and whichever one's doing better, it picks that one naturally. This is crazy, man. I mean, I haven't played a mobile game since what's the one where you run and you got to hop over things? Maze Runner? Something runner?
Look at the statistics to see which of these ads performed the best and which of them resulted in the most downloads for the game. Whichever of these ads that they created that does the best will be kept and the rest will get discarded. They then take the successful ad and they make some iterations of it, changing, you know, details here and there inside the ad. Then they roll out those ads again and measure their success. And they do this over and over again until they have the perfect ad to get as many downloads as possible for their game. And the most important part of all is that whatever minigame they decide to show in the advert is literally completely made up from scratch. And if one of the fake minigames in the ad starts to do well as an ad campaign, they then start making the minigame for their app to match the ad. Funnily enough, most products usually start, you know,
you can stay ahead of it like that.
And
That's
then they
crazy.
make the ad to reflect the product. But mobile game companies start with the ad, and the moment this ad stops working
That's
as well as
smart. I
it
can't
used
even lie,
to, the
man. It's
moment
crazy.
people start to catch on that the game they're being advertised is completely fake, the company then changes their entire ad campaign. Make a brand new ad with a brand new fake game and spread it far and wide, starting the cycle all over again. Now, whilst I was researching this video, there was one thing that I just couldn't get my head around for the longest time. If you're a mobile game company and you have an ad that looks like this, that is insanely popular, why not just make your entire game look like this? Like, it's clearly super popular. People like it a lot and it convinces them to download your game. And there are literally thousands of negative reviews on the App Store page talking about how mad they are about the false advertising. So if you get all this backlash from your scummy marketing strategy, why not just make the entire game be just like the super popular ad campaign that your team came up with? Well, this is where we get to the saddest and most insidious part of the story. You see, whales are only half of the money-making strategy that these game companies employ. Because even if you get 100 million downloads on your app, even if 2 million whales rock up to your app cash in hand, you still have to convince those whales to spend their money in the first place. And this is where we get to the nasty part. The reason Evany is a base builder, and the reason it's been a base builder for its entire lifetime, is because the base builder game is created from the ground up by very intelligent people with one single goal in mind: to be as addictive and manipulative as possible in order to get you to feel pressured into spending your money. And once you've started spending your money, it's designed to keep you spending it over and over again. Whales aren't just whales because they're stupid and have too much money on their hands. They're whales because they are unfortunately addicted to a game that they are willing to waste tens of thousands of dollars on. And this little mini game of enemies running down the lanes at you just isn't good at making whales spend their money. It's very good at convincing people to download a game. It's fantastic marketing. But the downside of this minigame is that it's hard to monetize, whereas a base builder or an anime RPG is incredibly easy to monetize, and they use all of the nastiest little tricks in the book that you can possibly think of to manipulate people into spending their money. They slow your progression through the game to a crawl and then offer you the ability to buy your progression back. They intentionally don't make their games too skill-based so that you'll be more willing to just buy chances to win. They offer you limited time deals to make you feel pressured into spending money literally right now, or else the deal goes away. They make desirable characters, skins, or items impossible to directly buy and make it so that the only way to access them is through loot box mechanics that are completely random. In fact, there's this really scary, disgusting video on the internet called Let's Go Whaling, where this guy, this evil, dirty fucking bastard of a man, goes on a massive 20-minute talk about just how he monetizes a mobile game. And it is genuinely like staring in the face of Satan himself. I won't go over the entire video here. I'll just link it in the description for you to watch the whole thing. And I really do recommend you watch it, because he goes over every dirty little trick in the business that mobile game companies use to pathologize spending money. And after you've finished...
This isn't just games on the phone to be doing this, man. I mean, the broader game industry has definitely tapped into pieces of this. I guess maybe it's just a lot worse on the mobile game.
Watching that video, and after this guy has made you really angry, just think that there are dozens of people just like this guy that work at the biggest and most profitable gaming companies in the world, and they spend every moment of their working lives trying to weasel their way into your mind and into your wallet. So that is why the mobile game company can't just make their entire game look like the ad, because the game in the ad looks much more fun to play, but it's much worse at slyly convincing people to part with their hard-earned cash. And you might be sat at home thinking to yourself, well, I would never be dumb enough to fall for this stuff. I have never spent a penny on a mobile game in my life. And that's just the thing. because you're probably right. You probably wouldn't fall for this stuff. But there are people out there that do, and they fall for it really hard. And as much as you might not want to admit it, those people are just like you and me. They're not dumber than you.
Well,
they're not necessarily less able to see it for what it is than you are. They're just more prone to falling into these addiction traps than you are. They are being manipulated in one way or another by a bunch of people.
All right, hold on, man. Like, look, I got a heart in my chest, man. I feel bad for anybody. I really do. I feel bad for people if they've truly gotten addicted to this and have lost a lot from it. I'm sure there's cases, but this guy narrating the video is going a little bit crazy with it. I mean, I don't know if I agree to that extent. You know what I mean? I mean, look, at some point you got to have some kind of accountability. You got to have some discipline in life. I mean, that's a key tool to use for the rest of your life that you need to learn. And if you don't have it, you got to learn it, and you got to learn it one way or the other. Looks like they're learning it now.
In suits, just like this, who spend their lives abusing quirks of human psychology to make themselves insanely rich at the expense of everyday people just like you. So if you're ever watching YouTube and you see a mobile game ad that looks appealing to you, please, for the love of God, don't click on it.
Wow.
Because clicking on it is exactly what they want you to do.
Wow! This guy sounds like he got swindled or something. Something happened with this guy, or he just knows somebody that lost a lot from getting addicted to a mobile game. Okay, so at the end of the day, we must be careful of the mobile game. And it is pretty crazy and pretty slimy the way they be doing it, though.